Have you ever been on a double date that went so bizarrely wrong, you and your mate ended up getting third wheeled by your own dates? Picture this. Me and my mate Ben are standing over our dates in the middle of a packed coffee shop. I've just dropped my car keys on the table with a massive clatter. The girls jump and look up at us like we're the ones being rude. Ben is literally laughing in their faces, telling them that if we had ignored them for 45 minutes to bond over our barbers and my Malamute, we'd be the stars of a viral TikTok about toxic men. And their only response to that entire speech? Wait, you have a Malamute? Can I see? Yeah, we literally walked out without another word and left them sitting there. I'm Damon. If you think the dating scene is tough, just wait until you hear how me and Ben became absolute ghosts at our own table, completely replaced by a photo of a dog and a hairdresser. Let's rewind to the beginning, because you seriously cannot make this shit up. After the disaster date Ben and I had experienced, we decided that a double date would be a much safer option. So anyway, I was talking to this woman, Helen. She was easy to talk to and, not gonna lie, I actually said the words, she might be the one. Ben was also talking to someone, Kate, and by the sound of it, she sounded perfect for him. And after his last time, he could do with some luck. I won't go into that. Moving on, I suggested a double date. Ben looked relieved, like that would be the perfect solution. I knew the woman he was talking to was asking if they could meet, and considering our luck so far, I had a little idea. I told Ben my double date plan, and he smiled like I had offered him a literal lifeline. A little later, I pitched the idea to Helen, and she was totally up for it. I sent Ben a quick text letting him know Helen was a yes. He rang me straight back and said, "That's great. I told Kate and she thought it was a brilliant idea." We met up at this cool, laid-back coffee shop, and for the first hour, man, it was perfect. The conversation was flowing, we were all laughing. It was one of those rare first dates where you feel like you've known these people for months. The four of us just clicked. I remember thinking, wow, this is actually going great. But then, the vibe changed. Kate noticed the wallpaper on Helen's phone. It was a photo of Helen holding a puppy. Kate literally squealed. "Oh my God, I love that picture of your baby Husky." Suddenly, Helen is all squealy and excited too. She grabs her phone and immediately starts scrolling through her camera roll. Right, so picture the scene. The girls were sat side by side. They had pointed out earlier that we should sit across from each other, which made sense so we could look at our dates. Kate at this point has started showing pictures and videos of her 3-year-old Husky brothers. You would not believe this. They simultaneously started talking to each other in a super excited baby voice. I jabbed Ben with my elbow and whispered, "What the fuck?" Then, Ben had the audacity to ask if he could see, saying that he loved Huskies. Kate looked at Ben in that low effort way where you look up without moving your head. The look literally screamed, "Do you mind?" I then said, "Helen, let's have a look." They looked at each other like I was interrupting a moving, emotional moment between two reunited sisters. They both reluctantly put their phones down after Helen gave me the quickest glimpse. And for about 20 minutes, we tried to get that vibe back. That wasn't going to happen. Ben looked completely bored, and the atmosphere was strained, to say the least. I looked at Helen. The awkward silence was beginning to feel like torture, so I said, "I forgot to mention your haircut. I know I said it looked amazing when I saw the photo, but now in person, the photos didn't do it justice. It looks stunning." Helen practically glowed. Kate then asked who her hairdresser is, and get this, I swear you wouldn't believe me, you seriously can't make this shit up. They only go to the exact same hair salon. The squeal is back. I looked at Ben, and he looked like, nah, fuck this. I leaned over and whispered, "Come on, let's lead them to it. I'm so done with this bullshit." Ben said, "Too right," and immediately stands up. As I stood up, I accidentally dropped my car keys on the wooden table with a massive clatter, and they both jumped. They looked up at us standing there like we were being incredibly rude. Helen looked completely baffled and said, "Are you leaving?" I looked dead at her, gave a tight little smile, and said, "Yeah, we didn't want to interrupt the sisterhood. You two clearly have a lot to catch up on." Kate frowned and said, "What's that supposed to mean? We were just talking." Ben let out a massive laugh. "Talking? We've been sitting here for 45 minutes watching you two communicate in ultrasonic squeals over Huskies and highlights. If me and Damon had spent the majority of the date looking at pictures of my Malamute and bonding over our barbers, we'd already be a viral TikTok about toxic masculinity and the worst dates of the year." Kate then interrupted, completely missing the point, and said, "Wait, I didn't know you had a Malamute. Can I see?" We just looked at them like, wow, did you hear absolutely anything other than the word Malamute? I grabbed my jacket. We didn't even bother saying another word. We just turned around and walked straight out the door, leaving them sitting there. Me and Ben went straight to the pub across the street, got 2 pints, and cheered to the absolute weirdest double date in history. So, lesson learned. If you ever go on a double date, make sure the girls don't own the exact same breed of dog, or you will simply cease to exist. But seriously, I need to know I'm not the only one who has experienced this level of disrespect. What is the most blatantly rude thing a date has ever done right in front of your face? Did you walk out, or did you sit there and suffer in silence? Drop your absolute worst horror stories in the comments right now. I want to read them. Make sure you smash that subscribe button and share with someone that needs a laugh, and I'll catch you in the next one.